Jon Jones is the first person in history to naturally produce trace amounts of turinabol. This extraordinary gift has given him a lot of success inside the octagon, being virtually undefeated. We thought it would be interesting to see how this fighting strength would translate to strength training, specifically powerlifting. He is no stranger from heavy lifting, since he is known to include a lot of powerlifting training in the off-season. This allows him to build additional strength and muscle mass. Closer to his fights, the weights get cut out and training gets more specific. Critics were saying this type of training would make him slow and bulky, and hence would negatively affect his fighting ability. These rumors were quickly shut down, with Jones earning 2 dominant victories after a long layoff. Back to the topic at hand. Jones competes as a 205 pounds fighter, so let's assume he could make the cut to 198 pounds for powerlifting. When we take a look at his body type, there is something that immediately jumps out. He has extremely long limbs, which would positively impact his deadlift and negatively affect other lifts. When we take a look at his best lifts to date, this is confirmed. As most of you know, these lifts would never go up in a competition environment. For this reason, we will estimate his total to be a bit lower at around 1,400 pounds. Unfortunately, we live in a time where 185 pounds women can do higher numbers. This does not mean that Jon does not have potential as a power lifter. Probably the most comparable power lifter in terms of body composition is Caleb William. Just like Jones, he has a smaller frame and very long limbs. He also happens to be the same weight as Jones, hovering between the 198 and 220 pounds class. Their stats might be comparable, but their totals aren't. Jon's gym total is almost 600 pounds lower than Caleb's competition PR. We have to take into account that Jon's powerlifting training is quite inconsistent and he regularly cuts it out completely. That being said, he has shown a decent amount of progression and a good base strength over the last few years. So let's rewind and answer the question. Could Jon Jones be a successful power lifter? Because of this steep competition, it's unlikely he would ever reach the absolute top. I do believe that he could do very well if he cleans up his form and gets on a consistent and specific regimen for the sport. Keeping in mind that tested records are a lot lower, he could potentially be very competitive in that division. That is if he passes the drug tests, of course.
A lot of times, it's just the tunes you play. It very well could just be the tunes, baby!